great to have you finally here and to see you, yeah?
I know, I'm so sorry. It's been a pain to get me here. I
No
appreciate
problem.
your flexibility, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we have seen that you had a lot of work in the last couple of weeks. So we are
Yeah.
happy anyway to get you finally here for a short interview for our German audience, at least. But also we have a lot of followers from around the world who are very exciting in the activities of Matchroom. So a lot of people from the pool community are following our channels. And yeah, we would like to ask you some questions about your impressions, your feedbacks from the US Open, especially, which was what we heard so far from a lot of players, an amazing event. So it's really, I spoke to players who play for 30, 40 years, and they say this was a new kind of event which they have not seen so far. Yeah, so very positive feedbacks. So we would like to ask you some questions about that today. And also we would like to have maybe an outlook, what we can expect, what are the next steps Matchroom is planning into the pool world, of course. We are following your other activities as well in snooker, in the other sport areas. And yeah, I personally also very excited because I believe there's a lot of potential to develop our sports, and companies like you are really the leader for that, yeah, to really help all the players around the world to get out more value of their sport and their activities. So, and that's why we are very excited. Yeah, so how are your feelings about the US Open after a few weeks now of look back?
Yeah, it feels like forever ago now. We just finished our Weber Cup 10-pin bowling event 2 days ago. So as soon as we finish one event, it's on to the next. But look, the US Open, it was a fantastic event. We forget that we've actually, that's just our second year of doing the event. So even it just feels like we've been doing it for forever. We're probably quite critical on ourselves because as soon as we finish an event, we look at ways that we can improve. But all in all, it was a fantastic event, an incredible winner in Carlo Biardo, but also such a fantastic runner-up in Alyosha Yap. He just displayed an incredible performance throughout the event. And he's one of those players that's kind of probably underrated, gone under the radar. And I feel that run at the US Open has really, set him up into quite a different sort of level. And then he went on to obviously win one of the 10-ball events. So it was fantastic. We had 33 tables in action. We had 6 live days of pool on TV. What more could you ask for? It was double sessions a day, about 9 hours we were churning out each day. The fans were there. We had better numbers on spectators along the East Coast, which I thought was going to happen. But I'm really pleased that we had a good audience there, because now we can look at keeping events on the West Coast, but also introducing our East Coast events as well, because we should be appealing to everyone in the US. So it's quite nice that we've got possibly the home of the US Open along the East Coast in Atlantic City. So it was a fantastic event, some great numbers, great figures, and a really good competition that came out of it.
Okay, yeah, that's actually also the impression we had from following and watching all the streams. So you mentioned your figures about the event, and we know that Matchroom is really promoting this event worldwide about all possible channels. So, and what we are excited to know, can you give us any idea of how many people has followed this event? Are there some figures available for the community?
Yeah, of course, and I'll be more than happy to share it with you. I think what we're now focusing on is, look, it's great that there's streams available for pool across the world, but the one thing that Matchroom brings that no one else does is the worldwide television coverage. Any country in the world, this is available on, whether it's DAZN, whether it's Viaplay, whether it's Sky Sports, whether it's Matchroom Live, whether it's Fox Sports in Australia. It is everywhere. Zibo in China. It's absolutely everywhere. And that is the same for all of our pool events. The US Open, obviously just our second year promoting the event, it's 6 days of 2 sessions a day. And that's quite hard to keep fans engaged for. You know, the Mosconi Cup runs for 4 days at 4 hours a day, and it's an evening session. And it's relatively not too early in the United States with the time difference. And it works quite well, and people will stay engaged for the whole program. But the US Open, it's a little bit tougher because we have to keep it exciting, especially those early rounds where you're seeing just whitewash after whitewash. But one thing that we really noticed from the second year of the US Open was our total streamed minutes that we were seeing, especially from our figures with DAZN, which is Germany, Italy, US, Brazil, Spain, that we were seeing total viewed minutes in the US of 500,000, which is fantastic. We were seeing 500,000 views. And just that alone just shows that people are tuning in for this. And this is broadcast level. And we're now coming away from, you know, Facebook Lives and things like that and that sort of community. The aim here at Matchroom is to get pool on TV and more frequently. We were only doing 3 events a year a couple of years ago. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking at unique viewers across DAZN Germany for the US Open for 130,000 viewers in Germany for the US Open. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yes.
And you're seeing 100,000 for Italy. We're also looking at our Sky Sports viewing figures. We found that from day one, we just saw an increase day by day by day, just a small gradual increase. But it showed that there wasn't, in 2019, we saw more spikes. So Jason Shaw may play one session and our Sky Sports in UK would just spike up. Whereas what we noticed this year at the US Open, it was consistent. We were consistently peaking at 100,000 viewers in the UK, consistently. We were reaching over 250,000, which is fantastic. And yes, we did have the Judd Trump factor, and the sessions that he played, we were tripling those viewing figures. So we're really seeing something just change in the numbers, just all of our social media content. You know, in an ideal world, everyone wants to see a camera at every possible table in the event. You know, they want to see 33 cameras instead of just the one table production. But we need to understand that we've got a full TV production of our main center stage that's going out to all of our broadcasters. And we have to be careful not to dilute our audience and send them to lots of different tables. But it is something that we're working on for our open events that, yeah, we might be able to put up another camera at table 2. We might be able to do it for 4 tables moving forward. But certainly it's just our second event, obviously, at the US Open. We were seeing some incredible figures on our social media pages because it's not just about the event these days. It's the build-up. It's the press conference. It's live Q&As. And they were fantastic that we introduced at the Mosconi Cup. But we're just going to do them for all of our events now because why not? Let's get more content out there. And a lot of the broadcasters or partners that we're working with, they want that content. We're looking at a possible mixed women's match for the Mosconi Cup as a build-up for the Mosconi. Sky Sports love the idea that they're going to look at that, and there's a real big push for women in sport at the moment. So let's try that for Mosconi. But across all of our social medias, we're reaching 700,000 video views across our Instagram, our Twitter, which is slow in porn. I think I've given the needle to some of the players recently, but we saw a 30% growth from the US Open just on our Twitter following. So we are constantly building and we are growing. which we're doing something right, but we're also appealing to a casual audience, and we're appealing to the bigger audience whilst keeping on to those hardcore fans that we absolutely love. So we need to keep the game engaging. We need to keep it interesting. We need to stick with one discipline, and we need to keep working on that. I think one of our main things was that we saw that the most engaged viewers across the world is in the US. So that's telling us something. But we're seeing a really big increase in Germany. So let's maybe do an event in Germany.
Yeah, this question is coming later. But but we can also give you as a feedback that this was an amazing stage. The whole event, the whole production was like what we have never seen before. Yeah, it was really brilliant. So it was really, we love to watch those games. We have a big billiard club here, and people were in the club every evening. So it means 30, 40, 50 people in one club are following your streams as well. Yeah, so even that is fantastic. Something you have to take into account. You also mentioned already that the participation of Judge Trump when he was playing, that you have seen an increasing interest in those games as well. So do you believe that also the participation of famous snooker players can also help the pool sport to develop and to get more attention as well?
Definitely. And we've seen it with the launch of our UK Open event. It's scheduled in, off season. It's in snooker, and there's always been, I think Judd Trump even said it himself, there's always been a slight disrespect towards pool from the snooker community and even the snooker players themselves. And Judd admitted it himself that he didn't quite respect the game as much as he thought he would, which was one thing that I really was keen to get out there, that he's in all of his recent events. He's been he was at the Northern Ireland event just this week that's gone, and he was speaking in the Eurosport studio, and he was just saying, I never really gave credit to the pool before. And, he loves the snooker. He's not going to make a switch from snooker to pool. But why not some of the snooker players come over and play in some of our events if it works on the calendar? But I think the beauty was Jason Shaw coming out and playing him, because it really showed everyone at home, you can't just make a switch to pool without actually putting the hours in and practicing, because it's a tough game to beat the ones that are top of the level. So even though there was a love-hate relationship with the idea of Judd coming out into the US Open, it just sparked a fantastic talk amongst the billiards industry. But it also proved to everyone that pool is a tough sport, and there should be that level of respect. And Judd did get whitewashed by Jason Shaw, and rightly so. He should have. He didn't put the practice in. So yes, that's not our main focus, but we're a promoter at the end of the day. We understand that viewing figures will increase if we reach into another audience, just like if one of the darts players played in one of our events. But obviously it's much easier in Q Sports to, switch between the two. So it was a good move for us. And it's something that I think more snooker players will be interested in doing, especially if the calendar allows, because it's fun. It's a bit of fun. It's exciting. Judd enjoyed himself at the event. He loved every minute of it. And he liked he said it in a recent interview, he liked the atmosphere. He liked that it wasn't just silent and, but people were still respectful of when you were down on a shot. We're sitting in this beautiful position, which is just between snooker and darts. So we're not as quiet as snooker, and, there's no one falling asleep in the audience, but we're not as rowdy as darts, and it's not a constant noise throughout. So they're both sports that, that Matchroom have just catapulted in the past decade. And, that's something that we're looking to do with pool.
Yeah. We see that as, we had the same impression from the interviews. So you had now done an amazing series of tournaments already. And the first time we had heard about it, that you announced the UK Open as a new tournament. So can you maybe tell us a little bit more about your plannings for the UK Open in May next year?
So we acquired the US Open a couple of years back, and we did our first event in 2019. And everyone kept saying to us, you're gonna have an 128 player field, and start off small, and we'll build to 256, and then we sold the field size out, and then we went on sale with 2020 US Open. And I think it was a matter of hours that we sold that event out. Obviously, it got cancelled due to COVID. And then we went on sale again with the 2021 US Open. And under 24 hours, it was 256 players. And I think we had been focusing too much on the events that we had and making them bigger and making them better, which that is our plan. That's what we want to do. But we noticed with the US Open, we kept thinking, oh, let's double the field size again. Let's get to the 500. Let's get more tables in. Whereas that shouldn't be the aim anymore. What we should do is we should be setting lots of open events. We should be setting them at the 256 players. Let's go around the world and let's do these big open events. So we've got the US Open. So our next step is the UK Open. We're toying with something European in possibly Germany, that we're hoping to launch soon. So we're really making a big push for our open events, and that's all to do with rankings. That's all to do with creating a structure of events for the pool players. And so I can see that other promoters can see that the open events are what we should be doing right now. And I can see that they're following suit, which is fantastic. The way I see it is the more pool events, the better. You're never going to beat the Matchroom stage. You're never going to beat the Matchroom exposure. They're the creme de la creme. But the more events in pool, the better. But we really need to be focusing on 9-ball right now, because pool's just very dismantled in there's lots of disciplines, and it's such a fantastic sport, pool. It's fantastic. And when I first came on, I didn't even know what it was. I had no real idea, and I've fallen in love for the game. And I'm your casual sports fan. Like, I've fallen in love with pool. It's like that's my little baby. And so there's something fantastic to do with this sport, but we can't dilute the audience anymore. We must focus on one discipline. We must focus on 9-ball. It is the commercial drive for the sport. It's fun. It's interesting. It's exciting. A 2-9 combo, any combos. It's the jump shots. It's great. There are lots of disciplines to the game which are all respectable in themselves. And players can still play those games, but we must look at focusing on that one discipline so we can draw to a mass audience. Let's get everyone playing 9-ball. And that's the aim.
Okay, yeah, amazing. We are looking into this. So you already mentioned certain parts of my next question. So I was looking into, do you also see other countries in the future where you're going to plan to make tournaments? So you mentioned Germany already. So of course, I expect something to be organized, yeah, with a lot of power for this organization.
Definitely. The way that we see it is that, look, our figures are all coming in through Germany, through Europe, through the US. We want to do some events in Asia. Obviously, the climate's very difficult at the moment. There's such a strong talent of players that are coming out of Chinese Taipei. It's absolutely incredible. And we're not doing any events over there. And that's something that we're definitely really interested in doing. So we do want to go worldwide. We're not just focused on, 1 or 2 countries. We want to take this global. And that is the plan. It's just step by step as we go. But any sort of promoters that are interested in us coming over or anything like that, then please reach out to us, because we are all ears. We want to take this worldwide, and we will do.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually coming a question to my next point. Do you expect a similar increasing of prize money, how it has been done in the snooker world over the last maybe 10 years, what we have been seeing there? So I think the total today is already about 80 million around tournament prize money per year. Can you see something like this in the future for pool as well?
I mean, that would be the dream, wouldn't it? The snooker and the darts have adopted a fantastic model that creates, a career for these professional players, a stepping stone into these events. We've seen so many of these stories of the younger players coming through, and now they're making millions. What we want to do is we want to make career changes for professional pool players. We want to professionalize the sport. Okay, we're going to be looking at 8 events for 2022 with, prize money set at over 2 million. But we want to keep growing that. At the moment, we're making a huge investment and a huge commitment into the sport. We have done, obviously, the last, in previous years. The US Open, we don't make any money off of that. We're very much well in the red, because it costs substantial cost for us to go over to America and to just even put these events on. That's why we're the only ones really doing it to that level. But we see potential in pool, we see potential in 9-ball. And like I said, we're making a commitment into the game. And we want to do it so players have a tour of events to go to. They travel from A to B to C to D, and they can get their seeding into the certain events. They can get into the Moscone Cup. It's transparent. What we want to come away from is, how do you get into the World Pool Masters? Oh, it's because I'm friends with this person or that. That's how it's always sort of been. That's not how it should be. Let's be transparent. Let's ensure that players know how they're getting into these events. Let's make it clear. Let's give them a clear structure. If anyone is just getting into pool at the moment and they see that their career is just developing, maybe like an Albin Alshan, who's really like one of the major players in the game, for someone like him, he is in an absolute beautiful time of his career, because he's in that time where it's all going to start developing, it's going to start evolving, and prize money is going to start increasing. That's why we see so many of these big money matches in the US. And I don't discredit the players for doing it. It's how they make their money. But let's get rid of those by introducing new tournaments. So I welcome all of the promoters to get on board with us. Let's do that. Let's all work together, and let's increase the career earnings for these players.
Yeah. So interesting times in front of us, maybe. And what should we say? As a community, we are very thankful to Matchroom to lead this and to really promote the sport worldwide again. Yeah. So maybe my last question about today. So the next big thing in pool from Matchroom is the Moscone Cup. Can you tell us anything what we can expect there?
Yeah, I had to have a go at Jake in the office, who he does all of he's head of our digital media, and he has countdown graphics. And today, I think it was 50 days to go. And I said to him, I swear, you give me anxiety every time you publish a to-go graphic, because I think, oh my gosh, it was like 8 Mondays to go last Monday, and then today it's 50 days, and we're like, oh my God. And next Saturday we've got a netball event, and then we've got snooker, and then the Moscone. So it's crazy. But look, the Moscone Cup, it's a fantastic event. We're back at Alexandra Palace, the 7th to the 10th of December. Ticket sales are going well. We've sold half the capacity. We're going to start announcing our players for both teams in the next 2 weeks. So we'll start seeing quite a movement on that. Obviously, we're a little bit apprehensive as to how the tickets will go, because it's not as easy for the American audience to come over here at the moment. But hopefully, you know, it will be a lot easier come December. But whatever happens, that atmosphere is going to be next level. We've got production meetings lined up with Sky Sports, who are our incredible partner on the event. They always want to put on a great show. So together with them, we're gonna deliver something really special, and it's going to be wild having the fans back. Even our build up to the event, the press conference, we're looking at doing this mixed, like I mentioned earlier, mixed Mosconi warm up involving some of the ladies in the event. We're going to be announcing details on that soon, because, you know, let's get the ladies involved. The way that the Matchroom are moving forward is that all of our events are open, and that's how it should be. No more closed events. It's open to everyone. And that's what the rankings will also introduce too. So it'll be interesting to see how the ladies sort of see like a Mosconi Cup, but we're going to introduce loads of details on that soon. And the team announcements are going to be a little bit left field. They're not going to be what you think they are. And the captains are coming back and forth. They first of all say they've got their 5, and then they text the day yet later, and they say, oh, actually, you know, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. So there's a lot on the line. There's a lot of prize money on the line, and there's a lot of stake. This is the event where the players get their exposure. This is where the viewing figures, they're the top in all of our pool events. This is the event that draws in the different crowd. It is the darts meets snooker. It's fantastic.
Definitely, yeah.
We're really, really excited. And if we don't sell it out, then I'll quit.
Yeah. So, yeah, hope to meet you there. Yeah. So, I would say thank you for your time, for your openness.
Thank you.
And yeah, hope to see you soon. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully see you at the Mosconi.
Yes. Yeah, we will be there. So, see you soon. Bye bye from Germany. Regards.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.